So it doesn't make any sense. She's admitting the coronavirus is killing people, but don't take the vaccine that stops you from dying or getting the coronavirus. Just bizarre. Bizarre. Now, she goes on to talk about the country's ongoing efforts to recover from the pandemic. President Biden said, and I'll quote, "Now we need to go to community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors to get help to the remaining people protect them from the virus." So there's this whole thing that says they're going to knock on your door and force you to get the vaccine. No, that's not what they're talking about doing. They're talking about going door to door and saying, look, if you're a shut-in, if you want the opportunity to get the vaccine, here it is. They're not going to knock down your door, hold you down, and stick a needle in your arm and say, now you're vaccinated. Nobody's ever said they were going to do that. And Green's saying basically, or at least alluding to the fact that that's what they're wanting to do. It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Cori Bush, the squad, all that, Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're just beyond the fray, ridiculous. And to show how ridiculous they are, here in St. Louis, there's a couple of local guys, Hancock and Kelly. Okay, Hancock is the conservative guy. The Republican, Kelly is the Democrat. I'm not going to say conservative or liberal. I'll say Republican or Democrat because that's how they define themselves, okay? And they're actually pretty good to watch, okay? They will debate, but they're personal friends. They don't throw bombs. If they throw darts, they're maybe darts without sharp points. How's that? Good nature ribbing, but they have a good rapport. Michael Kelly is the Democrat, and he was on the Dave Glover show. Dave Glover show is a long-running radio show that's now on KMOX, used to be on 97.1 FM, now on KMOX. Michael Kelly was on David Glover. And Michael Kelly, a Democrat who in the past I've really never agreed with, he said some interesting things. He said, Cori Bush, the squad, Marjorie Taylor Greene, paying people to stay home instead of having them go to work are all bad things. 2 out of 3 of those are mainstream Democratic ideas. And Kelly, who's been a Democrat all his life, is against it. Kelly is more like he became a Democrat because he was big into the labor movement. His family was big into the labor unions. So he's kind of an old school Democrat in many ways, where government needs to help out. And we need to have strong labor unions to make sure the people who work for the businesses get a fair and equal wage. That's the old style Democrat. And he's kind of like that. I never thought in a million years that Michael Kelly would be more like a centrist than a liberal. Extremists run their mouth, my friends, because they get elected. That's why. If I had a nickel anytime anybody told me or I saw a sign or read an article or saw a Facebook post, impeach Nancy Pelosi. Why? The people in her district elect her in a landslide vote every time, and she's not done anything impeachable. The extremists are extreme because they get results. The people in their districts listen to them. That's how they think, or at least that's how the politicians believe they think. Conspiracy theories can be entertaining. In the old days, and I still do this on Saturday night on, you can listen on iHeartRadio on radio station KOGO 600 AM out of San Diego. Pardon me. From 9 till midnight is Art Bell Somewhere in Time. These are Art Bell shows that are anywhere between 20 and 25 years old. And they talk about conspiracy theories, okay? But it's not your typical conspiracy theories. It's harmless conspiracy theories. For instance, what you're talking about, or what Cori Bush is talking about, lead to violence and riots in Chicago and Portland, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, by rabble-rousing the crowd. When you listen to somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, it leads to a bunch of knotheads storming the Capitol. Nobody gets hurt or harmed if you believe in the face on Mars. Okay? You might believe it, you might not. It's entertainment. If the face on Mars is real, nobody gets hurt. If the face on Mars is not real, nobody gets hurt. If you're going to debate the face on Mars, one guy believes it and one guy doesn't, at the end of the argument, nobody's going to throw punches. Okay? Those are the conspiracy theories that are just, they're harmless. They're fun. Okay? Saying that if you get the coronavirus vaccine, the government is really putting a chip in your arm. Folks, if you believe that and don't get the vaccine, there's a good chance you can get the virus and die, especially if you're older or have compromised health. Now, when I say a good chance, I don't mean 50% chance, but millions of people have died from this virus. It's a real deal. It's the real thing. And I've had this debate with all kinds of people, all different types of time or different times. And they say, "Wow, you shouldn't get the vaccine just because the government tells you to." Folks, I've been vaccinated. I didn't get the vaccine because the government told me to. I got the vaccine because my doctor said it was a good idea. When it comes to money, I listen to my financial advisor. When it comes to health, I listen to my doctor. And if I think my doctor is incompetent, I get another one because there's lots of doctors out there. My doctor told me to get the vaccine because my doctor said, this thing ain't going away anytime soon. Your best defense is the vaccine. Do you have to wear a mask? No. Do you need to make sure you're cautious around people? Yeah, maybe, especially people who haven't been vaccinated. But it doesn't mean, he said, do most of what you want. You've been vaccinated. You've done what you need to do. Period. He's my doctor. Now, I'm not going to go say, well, the science says, because that's what everybody's. If you have an argument, it's the science. And I'm not going to say the science. I'm going to say my doctor has done the legwork for me. I'm going to listen to my doctor. Okay? That's why I got the vaccine. Nobody dies because of the face on Mars. People do die with rabble-rousing, whether it be from the right and Cori Bush or the left from Marjorie Taylor Greene. They are fools, and I don't suffer well the folly of fools. I don't listen to them. Now, what's a good conspiracy theory? Here's a good conspiracy theory that we can talk about. The Rendlesham Forest UFO case, okay? Here you go again, Strong. You're trying to convince me to do the right thing, and then you're going to talk about UFOs. That's a conspiracy theory that's harmless, okay? Now, back on December 27th, 1980, not that terribly long ago, in the Rendlesham Air Force Base in Britain, there was a case. And I'll read from the official document. This is from the Department of the Air Force. It was the official document I'm going to read from by the base commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt. Halt says, early on the morning of 27 December 80, two USAF, United States Air Force, security patrolmen saw unusual lights outside the back gate at the Royal Air Force Base in Woodridge. That's what they call the Rendlesham Air Force Base. Thinking an aircraft might have crashed and been forced down, they called for permission to go outside the gate to investigate. The on-duty flight chief recorded and allowed 3 patrolmen to proceed on foot. The individuals reported seeing a strange glowing object in the forest. The object was described as being metallic in appearance and triangular in shape, approximately 2 to 3 meters across the base and approximately 2 meters high. It illuminated the entire forest with a white light. The object itself had a pulsating red light on top and a bank of blue lights underneath. The object was hovering or on legs. As the patrolman approached the object, it maneuvered through the trees and disappeared. At this time, the animals on a nearby farm went into a frenzy. The object was briefly sighted approximately 1 hour later near the back gate. The next day, 3 impressions 1.5 inches deep and 7 inches in diameter, were found where the object had been sighted on the ground. The following night, 29 December, discretion there, 27 to 29, but the area was checked for radiation. Beta gamma registrations of 0.1 milloretgrins, sorry, I can't pronounce that. It's a measurement of radioactivity, were recorded with peak readings in the 3 depressions and near the center of the triangle formed by the depression. A nearby tree had moderate readings on the side of the tree towards the depression. Later in the night, a red sun-like light was seen through the trees. It moved about and pulsed. At one point, it appeared to throw off glowing particles and then broke into 5 separate white objects and disappeared. And it goes on and on and on. But that's the official document that the lieutenant colonel gave to the Department of the Air Force. Okay? Now, what was the Rendlesham Air Force Base UFO? What was it? Don't know. Was it a UFO? Was it a hoax? Was it a Russian object? Some people say it was just a hoax that the Brits played on the Americans because they didn't want them there at their Air Force Base. It's hard to say. But you can talk about that conspiracy theory all day long. Nobody's harmed. Nobody dies. Nobody's going to lose any money. That's the fun part of conspiracy theories, okay? Look, folks, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Life is good. Life is fun. It's not perfect. And we need to continue improving our culture. We need to continue improving our mindset to fine-tune our society. But if you look at what we have, do you really want to burn it down and start over? Think about it. In this country, we have it so good that we have millionaire black people demanding reparations. And what does that mean? Do I need to pay reparations to LeBron James? Or, well, I'm of Tunisian descent. I'm African American. Do I get reparations? You have white people on welfare saying, well, the Mexicans are taking all of our jobs. No, they're not. You can pick vegetables. You can dig ditches. You can go on a roof and put shingles on if you want to, but you don't want to. You sit on your tail and bitch about stuff. Mexicans aren't taking all the jobs. They're taking the jobs that you won't do. You have fat people who are saying, well, I'm hungry. I don't have enough food. Really? You're 100 pounds overweight. What do you mean you don't have enough to eat? Looks like you have too much to eat to me. In the St. Louis Review, that's the official publication of the Archdiocese of St. Louis. Me being Roman Catholic, I read it. And there was an article in there on an organization, a philanthropic organization that helps people in need, okay? And the article had a woman and her boyfriend who lived together talking about, this organization has given us a nice place to live. We were on the skids. We had a problem. We couldn't find a job. We didn't have any money. And these people have given us a place to live. They've given us food. They've helped us out a whole lot, which is wonderful. There were 2 problems with that article that I saw, though. First of all, these were not old people. They didn't have kids. They didn't appear to be disabled. I mean, they seemed like normal folks who were down on their luck. And this philanthropic organization gave them a hand. They helped them out. They gave them a place to live. And I think that's great. I think it's good that we help people out. And the photograph of the reporter and the caseworker talking to these 2 people, in the background of the photograph was a 48-inch flat screen television. Looked like a 48-inch. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 36. Maybe it was 52. I don't know. It appeared to be about a 48-inch flat screen television. And I scratched my head and thought to myself, you can't afford rent. You can't afford food. But you can afford a 48-inch flat screen television.